Imagine being so desperate to escape your life that you decide the easiest way out is to kill the person closest to you. Not in a moment of rage, but slowly, carefully, and with a plan designed to make you rich. This is the disturbing story of a woman named Wendy, a woman who hated her husband so much that she was willing to poison him. She lied to paramedics and ultimately beat him to death, all while hoping to collect millions of dollars after he died. And the most chilling part, her husband was already dying. The story begins in Arizona in the late 1990s. At the center of it is a young woman named Wendy. When this story starts, Wendy is only 26 years old. She lives in Arizona with her husband, Joe, and their young baby. From the outside, they look like a typical young family. But behind closed doors, things are very different. Wendy absolutely despises her husband. Joe struggles to keep a steady job. Money is tight. Bills constantly pile up. And according to Wendy, Joe can also be abusive toward her. Regardless of the exact details, one thing is clear: the marriage is deeply unhappy. Wendy feels trapped. She feels like her life is going nowhere, and she blames Joe for it. Eventually, she reaches a breaking point. One day in 1997, Wendy decides she's done. She wants to leave Joe and start a new life. But right as she begins planning her escape, something happens that completely changes everything. She discovers she's pregnant. Leaving Joe no longer feels possible, so she stays. But things are about to get even worse. Not long after Wendy finds out she's pregnant again, Joe suddenly becomes very sick. He starts experiencing pain and unusual swelling near his jaw. Concerned, he goes to the hospital to get checked out. Doctors quickly discover a tumor in his salivary gland. At first, doctors believe surgery will solve the problem. Joe undergoes surgery to remove the tumor. But something strange happens. The tumor comes back. By the time doctors discover the truth, the cancer has already spread to his lungs. The prognosis is grim. Joe's illness is terminal. Joe and Wendy are members of a local church that strongly believes in divine healing. So instead of starting chemotherapy immediately, Joe and Wendy choose another path. They pursue faith-based healing and prayer. But the cancer doesn't care about their beliefs. It continues spreading through Joe's body. By the year 2000, Joe's health is deteriorating rapidly. Finally, the couple realizes their mistake. He can't work. Most days, he's stuck at home. The responsibility for supporting the family falls entirely on Wendy. To keep the family afloat, Wendy takes a job as the apartment manager. But the bills keep stacking up. The stress becomes overwhelming. Wendy begins to spiral emotionally. She turns to alcohol and begins drinking heavily. Soon she starts spending many nights at local bars. While she's there, she starts meeting random men. One day, Wendy has a thought. Joe is terminally ill. She starts wondering if she could profit from his death. Her first idea is life insurance. She tries to take out a $50,000 policy, but the insurance company refuses. Then Wendy realizes something. There might be a way to make far more money. A medical malpractice lawsuit. If Joe dies while the lawsuit is active, she becomes the primary beneficiary. His death could increase the value of the case. Joe is worth more to her, dead than alive. But Wendy doesn't to wait. She's going to kill him herself. Wendy carefully pours some of the pesticide into gelatin capsules. Then she labels them as herbal supplements. Joe trusts these supplements. He begins taking them regularly. Soon, Joe starts feeling sick, but the dose is too small. One night, Wendy prepares Joe a bowl of soup. But this time, she mixes a much larger amount of pesticide into the food. Joe eats the soup. Not long after, he begins to feel extremely sick. The poison attacks his body quickly. Panicking, Joe asks her to call 911. Wendy tells him she will, but she doesn't. She's stalling. Finally, Wendy realizes she can't stall forever, so she calls 911. But Joe is still breathing when they arrive. Wendy rushes outside. She tells them Joe has terminal cancer and signed a do not resuscitate order. The paramedics hear this and believe her. Without entering the house, they leave. Joe is still inside still suffering, and now Wendy begins to panic. She decides to end it herself. Wendy grabs a bar stool and walks over to Joe. Each strike crashes down on his body. He can't defend himself. Eventually, he stops moving. But Wendy still isn't sure he's dead, so she walks to the kitchen. She grabs a knife. This time, Joe dies. When police arrive, they begin investigating immediately. Joe's body shows obvious signs of violence. Investigators quickly notice problems with her story. Joe was extremely weak. The injuries don't match, so Wendy's case eventually goes to trial. Prosecutors present the disturbing details of the crime. In the end, Wendy is convicted of murdering her husband. Instead of collecting millions, she is sentenced to life in prison. Her plan to escape her life by killing Joe completely backfired. Now she will spend the rest of her life behind bars. It stands today as one of the most shocking examples of greed, desperation, and betrayal inside a marriage.